You've heard us talk about Great Jones and their stunning high-quality cookware. Well, I have to say, since I got my Saucy, I have found it much more fun to cook. The Saucy is a terrific saucepan with curved sides, a pouring spout. It comes with a lid. It looks gorgeous just sitting there. It makes it easier and more fun to cook. And I realized that that's the exact intention of Great Jones. As a women-run New York-based brand, Great Jones wants to equip and empower people to cook at home and make kitchen our happy place.
So whether you're baking sourdough, cooking scrambled eggs, or looking to transform your kitchen into your happy place at a great price, we can agree that it's time to upgrade from those old rusted hand-me-downs to the bold, beautiful, long-lasting pieces from Great Jones like we did. Get started today at greatjones.com and get an extra 15% off your first order with promo code HAPPIER. That's greatjones.com, promo code HAPPIER.
Hello and welcome to Happier, a podcast where we talk about strategies, hacks, tips, suggestions for how to build happier habits into our everyday lives. This week is a very special episode. Every 10th episode is a very special episode, and this is episode 490. And we will be talking about exercise. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer who studies happiness, good habits, the five senses, human nature. I'm in my little home office in New York City, and joining me today from Los Angeles is my sister, Elizabeth Kraft. Elizabeth, soon you and I will be exercising together. We will be on the trail together in beautiful England.
That's me, Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer living in LA. And yes, Gretch, I can't wait. I have to tell you, I've made many purchases of things to wear based on listener suggestions.
Yes, we've got.
So I now have my toe liner socks, and I hope not to get blisters.
I'm going to wait and hear your report on the toe liners.
Okay.
Couldn't figure out what those were. But before we jump in, this very special episode is all hacks about creating habits of regular exercise. But I have a request for another kind of hack. As I've mentioned, my daughter Eleanor is going off to college in late August, and I would like any suggestions for this time of life. I went through with this with my older daughter Eliza, but that was so long ago, I've forgotten everything. Like we did this blues bag for her. We made her like a tote bag full of little gifts to open if she felt homesick, if she felt the blues. But I'd almost forgotten that I'd had that idea. So I need to refresh my recollection and then also get more suggestions from listeners. So send them in.
And Gretchen, are these hacks for Eleanor on her journey, or are they for you as a new open door parent?
They're both. Any suggestions for the child, for the parent, for the grandparent, for the aunt, anything. Okay. It's a major transition.
Yes.
So any suggestions, I would personally welcome them and we'll put them together. But now let's jump into the subject of today's conversation, which is just a huge hack extravaganza about exercise. And we were inspired to do this episode from a listener.
Yes, Kelsey said, I'd love to request a very special episode about exercise, and my specific interest is in how people started and have kept up exercise routines who previously did not exercise at all. I love to exercise and always have since I was 16 and started running with my dad, and it's one of my favorite things. I love Orange Theory and hope you do too, Liz. But I have so many people in my life who say they want to exercise regularly, but can't seem to start or keep going. I just turned 40, and so not exercising is starting to have serious health impacts on people I care about. The things that work for me as a lifelong exerciser and upholder often don't work for them, so I thought maybe hearing from all tendencies, and specifically from people who have gone couch to exercise, could be helpful for me as I try to happiness bully my friends to health.
Great question.
Fantastic question.
But I think the initial question is, does exercise really matter? If we're thinking about habits to form for happiness, is this important? And I think it's absolutely clear. I feel like it's more clear with each passing year as scientists study the human body more and exercise more, that exercise truly is an essential habit for happiness and good health, which of course are tied together.
Yeah.
Active people have lower incidences of all sorts of health issues, heart disease, obesity, dementia. Exercise improves circulation, posture, focus, creativity. Research shows that people who exercise are healthier, more energetic, they think more clearly, they sleep better, they have delayed onset of dementia, they have better immune function, they get relief from anxiety and mild depression, and exercise is linked to happier moods overall.
Yes. And if you're feeling tired, that's actually a reason to exercise,
Yes.
not a reason to skip exercise. It
Yeah.
will make you less tired.
Yeah, no, unless you're like really exercising at the outer limits, you're doing a long run when you're training for the marathon. For most people, exercise will boost energy, not deplete energy. So feeling sluggish is a reason to exercise, not a reason to skip exercising. And energy itself is tied to happiness because when we have more energy, then we can do the things that we know that will make us happier, but take effort, like planning a party or dealing with a nagging task or clearing clutter or calling a friend or volunteering. When we have physical energy, we're more likely to do the things that then will make us happier.
Yeah, and Gretchen, I know if I've exercised in a day, I feel like it was a good day. No matter what else happened, I feel like I did that, I accomplished that. This was a good, productive day.
Yeah. Well, in my book, Better Than Before, I talk about the 21 strategies that we can use to make or break our habits. And one of the strategies is the strategy of foundation, because there are a few foundational habits that really affect our ability to form all other habits. And those foundational habits are sleeping, managing eating and drinking, like not letting yourself get too hungry or thirsty. For some people, but not everybody, decluttering, because for most people, outer order contributes to inner calm, but not for everyone. And then also exercise. Just taking care of your body and getting that exercise is something that really does pay off in terms of a happier, healthier, more productive, more creative life.
Yes, but you have to get that exercise routine going, as Kelsey pointed out.
Yes, and that's what we're going to talk about. But one last thing, just generally, is there's one thing that exercise really does not help with much, but people assume that it does, and that is with losing weight. The research is clear that if one of your aims is to lose weight, you're much better off approaching that from the eating side, not the exercising side. There's a proverb, exercise for sanity, not vanity, because it has all of these enormous good consequences, but that is one consequence that people think that it has, that it does not.
Yes, although I will point out, Gretch, you do look better when you exercise. So it also does help with vanity.
Yeah.
There's no question that you look better and you can toned and your skin, all of that. It's just not for actually dropping the pounds.
Right. And it seems to help people maintain a weight. But right. Absolutely. There's just a bazillion reasons to exercise, which is why it really is important to try to do it. But it can be a hard habit, and it's one that you have to do consistently and regularly to get the benefit of it. So before we get into the specific hacks, I thought it might be helpful to talk about some of the major strategies that these exemplify. So in Better Than Before, my book about habit change, I talk about the 21 strategies that we can use to make or break our habits. And there's some that come up over and over as we hear a listener's suggestions and we talk about our own suggestions. One is the tendency. Kelsey mentions that she's an upholder. And we won't go through all 4 tendencies, but if you want to learn about the tendencies and learn your tendency, take the quiz, GretchenRubin.com/quiz. It's really important to know your tendency because this really comes up in the exercise habit. What works for an obliger is not going to work for a rebel. So you really want to take that into account. Another important strategy is the strategy of accountability. That's key for obligers. It's really important for a lot of people. Safeguards. This is when you're doing if-then planning. Like if I travel for work, then I will do X for exercise. Or if there's bad weather, what will I do? Another is convenience and inconvenience. Like to a hilarious degree, we're very focused on whether things are convenient or inconvenient. Another strategy is monitoring. For a lot of people, monitoring is really, really effective as a way to keep yourself exercising. And then also pairing, which is when you pair exercise with another behavior that you really love to do or that you really have to do. So those two things always go together. There's 21 strategies. They're all useful for exercise, but those are some of the ones that I think are the most applicable to the habit of exercise.
Well, Gretch, let's talk about some of our exercise hacks. I think it's safe to say we are both natural couch potatoes. We could easily not exercise the rest of our lives.
I think it's a major life accomplishment that you and I both regularly exercise.
I agree. I agree. And it always feels like it's on the cusp of going away. I mean,
1,000%.
You have to be careful and safeguard it, as you said earlier.
Constant vigilance. Yes. And that's a great example that just because you've done something for 5 years regularly does not mean that it couldn't vanish overnight. I feel exactly the same way. It's something to guard.
So one thing that has really worked for me in recent years, as I've discussed on the podcast, is setting goals. So last year, I had my Fryman 50. I wanted to do my Fryman Canyon hike 50 times in the year. I ended up upping it to 100.
Yes.
And accomplishing that. And then this year, I just decided to do Orange Theory 50. So I decided I was going to do a new kind of exercise, Orange Theory class, because I wanted to get more cardio. 50 times. I started late because I was sick at the beginning of the year, but I'm up to, I think, class 24, Gretchen.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I'm almost halfway there. So yes.
So you have the aim of exercising consistently, which is like the sort of endless aim, but the goal is this year I want to do Fryman 100.
Yes, and it makes a huge difference to me if I'm ticking it off or if I'm worried, well, if I skip this week, then I won't hit that number and I'll have an extra session I'll have to do. So it really helps me with just kind of the monitoring of it.
Yeah.
Another huge thing for me is to use that time as socializing. So a big reason I really like hiking is because I can talk to a friend while doing it. And that really motivates me to get out of bed at 6:30 in the morning in the middle of the summer to beat the heat and actually show up and talk to somebody.
Right. And I would say that's separate from the accountability of meeting somebody who's counting on you, but it makes it so much more fun for you. That encourages you to keep up with it.
Absolutely.
Or to do more than the minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. It's my favorite way to talk to friends is walking. And then the other thing for me, Gretchen, and you talk about this all the time, putting it on the schedule.
Yeah.
For me, it's like if I sign up for a class 3 days in advance, then in my mind, I know, okay, Thursday at 5:10, I am going to be at Orange Theory.
Right.
And that really helps me. And also for planning things with friends, hikes with friends. If I go, okay, Saturday morning, I'm meeting this person, then I know I'll do it. If I'm just on my own and I wake up randomly on Saturday morning, chances of me just spontaneously getting out of bed and going to Fryman Canyon are much smaller than if it's on the schedule.
For me, some things that have been hacks in recent years is I realized that I really was not enjoying going to the gym. And it was hard for me to give up my gym membership, even though I wasn't going, because it was part of my identity. Like I belong to a gym and I go to the gym, but it was so rackety. I realized like it was just such an unpleasant experience and that what I really wanted to do was walk in Central Park, which was beautiful. So I've been doing that. But Elizabeth, you've inspired me to realize I should do more cardio. And so I'm maybe as part of my open door, I'm going to start going to Orange Theory like you or doing something else because I realize I have a lot of movement and other kinds of exercise, but I don't do cardio these days.
Okay. Well, I think this is something we can talk a lot about on our walkabouts in England.
Okay.
What
you
kind
can get
of
me fired up.
exercise you want to do. Yes.
One of the things that was a huge revelation to me, and maybe other people will identify with this, is I realized I don't like games. And so I had this association with myself, like, I don't like exercise because I don't like games. And I'm very physically awkward. So I was really bad at things like tennis or field hockey or whatever, or basketball, whatever it was. But I just don't even like games, period. And so realizing I could exercise and not have it be part of a game was a huge epiphany for me way back because I'm fine exercising, but I don't want to play a game.
We are not going to join the pickleball movement.
You have played pickleball once.
Well, yes.
And I applaud you from the sidelines. I will not be picking up that pickleball paddle. And Elizabeth, I think there's some things that have worked really well for both of us. And one of them, and this goes to the like lack of a game aspect of it, is you and I both do high intensity weight training.
Yes.
And we really embrace that because first of all, it's extremely efficient use of time. And it's a really good way to like work out your whole body at a really, really high level. But, you know, it doesn't last that long. And so it's sort of, for somebody who it doesn't maybe enjoy the process that much, it's a really good way to get a great workout.
Yes. And also you don't sweat a lot. So
Yes.
if you need to do something and then go directly to work,
Yes.
it's a great thing because you can just take half an hour and be done and then not have to shower.
Yeah. But it's funny because I was talking to some guy about it and he was said to me very dismissively, like, look, it can't be real exercise if you don't need to take a shower afterwards. And I'm like, dude, you go do it. And you tell me if you've had a big workout because I am not sweating, but my muscles are shaking. I've been working so hard.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, it's hard to lift a coffee cup afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes I work out so hard that I actually start almost falling asleep.
I've had that
in the middle of it because suddenly I just like, I must nap now.
But then it's over. So yes. So we're big fans of high intensity weight training. And then also getting a dog. So research shows that people who have dogs walk far more often than people without dogs. And children who live in households with dogs are substantially more active than children in homes without dogs. I don't know that either one of us really thought about that when we got our dogs, but it turns out that's a really good thing to do for general exercise-related health.
Yes, I know I walk a lot more now that I have Nacho and Daisy, for sure. Okay, Gretch, coming up, we'll hear exercise hacks from listeners. But first, this break. Whenever I'm gearing up for my next trip, deciding what to pack is always so stressful. The clothes I have either don't fit or worn out or just don't match. But then I discovered Quince. It's my go-to for high-quality vacation essentials I'll be packing for trips to come. Gretchen, you know I'm always looking for the perfect t-shirt. Yeah. I am so into right now Quince's organic cotton slub crew neck tees. I got black and white to take on our trip to England. They are the perfect tee.
The best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. Pack your bags with high-quality essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Gretchen to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
The first hack comes from Jen. She said, I give myself some grace. If I don't really feel like doing anything, I tell myself it's okay to just go for a walk. Just knowing I can step back makes it easier to get the planned workout in. Alyssa, this reminds me, our father used to always say, it counts as a run if the door shuts behind you. So it's like you get credit just the minute you're out there with your running shoes on.
Yep. Elizabeth said, when I decided to practice yoga every day, I didn't set a time minimum, like at least 10 minutes a day. Some days get away from me and I jump out of bed to do a 2-minute sun salutation before going to sleep, but that way I can still keep the streak going. Using a tracking app to keep myself accountable to the daily part of the habit helps keep me motivated. I'm on day 1047 and counting.
Wow.
Way to go.
Way to go. Tish says, as a rebel, I often remind myself to stay mobile and flexible so I can keep having fun as I get older. So again, this is the rebel tendency going into identity, going into freedom and choice, really tapping into those values as a rebel.
Jackie said, I check in with a group of women on the app Marco Polo and send a video after exercise. Also, I use the Don't Break the Chain habit tracker. I track 10-minute abs and yoga. Any movement counts.
Great. In the Happier app, we have the Don't Break the Chain is one of the most popular tools because people love Don't Break the Chain. Allison says, I set low expectations and as I got better at running consistently, got myself cuter workout clothes. This is interesting, and I want to say, because of Better Than Before, I write about the strategy of reward. The strategy of reward is a very complicated and often counterproductive strategy because rewards can sometimes undermine habits strangely. But the reward that is good is a reward that takes you deeper into the habit. And so what is the reward for running? Cuter running clothes.
Yes.
And so that's a good use of reward.
Kristen said, I walk my age in miles during my birthday month. This year I'm turning 54 and will walk 54 miles. That's such a fun idea.
That's fun. That's fun. Laura says, Peloton bike. The fact that others can see if I've worked out is a motivator for this obliger. Excellent. Great way to tap into that accountability.
Adventure Mom says, I only watch ridiculous reality shows when I work out. The cheesier or cringier, the better. Well, that's the pairing, Gretchen, that you were mentioning earlier.
Right. You can watch that show only when you're working out. Courtney says, I've been a consistent morning exerciser for 10 years through new jobs, marriage, and births of 3 kids. Find a type of exercise you love and make it non-negotiable to do it every morning. Schedule it and make sure your partner can support you. For instance, we'll watch the kids. It will become a habit, and before long, you will just do it without thinking. Morning is best, so you aren't thinking about it, dreading it, pushing it back all day. Okay, so a few things I would say. First of all, she's clearly a morning person. And so I think if you're a morning person, this is great advice. Mornings are more predictable. If you're a night person, you might want to think about that. Making sure that you work with a partner so that you get coverage for your exercise is great. I think sometimes people are reluctant to say to somebody else, we need to set it up so that I can exercise regularly, but it really is a high priority. And so it's worth having that conversation and working that out.
Chris said, closing my rings on my Apple Watch became my accountability partner. I hear you, Chris. I am looking at those rings all day long.
And Louise says, I'm a rebel and I have a complicated relationship with taking care of myself. I began walking again with the simple thought, I want to be the person who walks 4 miles a day. I actually want to be the person who walks 10 miles, but I'm also the person who knows that I first have to be the person who walks 4 miles a day. So again, this is a rebel tapping into an identity. I am the kind of person who walks every day, and so the habit follows from the identity.
Shauna said, a few years ago, while stuck in an office job, I set myself a challenge to exercise every day for a year. My rules were simple. It had to be something above and beyond what I would have done in the normal course of the day. So it could be a gym class or a run, but also could be a lunchtime walk or an online yoga class. I achieved it and it completely changed my mindset about exercise. Now I need it. I've changed my job to one where I can be active and on my feet all day, and hiking is my favorite way to spend a day off. So now I climb stairs instead of taking the lift, walk everywhere I can rather than drive. There are opportunities to move all around us if we look for them.
Well, this is a great idea. And I would say for people who aren't exercising now, it's good to remember that it builds on itself. And as you exercise, you do feel restless. You do feel like you want to exercise more. It does build on itself in that way. Jennifer said, the best exercise is the one you'll do. I find a mini trampoline to be quick and simple. 15 minutes first thing in the morning, just do it. Well, I didn't know that it turns out that the trampoline is really good exercise. I'll post a link to an article that I read about it. Alyssa, I thought of Jack because Jack loves
Yes.
jumping on a trampoline.
Yes.
This is something I hadn't thought about.
Lynn says, as an obliger for several years, my workout partner picked me up at 5 a.m. each morning. I went to bed each night in clean workout clothes. I'd roll out of bed, grab my water bottle, and tie my shoes in the car. She had young children and had to be home so her husband could get a workout before work. And I needed an accountability partner. Win-win.
I have heard from a surprising number of people who sleep in their workout clothes.
Yes, my friends who rode crew in college would sleep in their workout clothes so that they would just have to put on their shoes. Exact same thing.
There you go. Liz just said, I became the instructor. Now I have no choice but to be there 6 times a week. When it comes to my own personal workouts, I do best when I schedule something with someone else, either in person or virtually. I've heard from many obligers who become the instructor because that is the ultimate accountability if no one can exercise unless you show up.
Rain says, as a questioner, I need a why, which I articulate to myself as be able to put my own luggage into the overhead compartment, speaks to having the health to be able to travel independently and do many other things for decades to come.
So this is good because as a questioner, it really is the why. Why am I doing this? And also, what's the most efficient way? Can I customize this to myself? But this is really tapping into the reasons that you're doing it to keep you going.
All right, Gretch, coming up, we have more great exercise hacks from listeners. But first, this break.
Is your child struggling with a specific subject or need help with homework? Are they asking questions that you're not sure you can fully answer? IXL Learning is an online learning program for kids. It covers math, language arts, science, and social studies. IXL is designed. This program will improve your kids' grades. Studies done in almost every state in the country. The kids who had IXL are consistently doing better. Powered by advanced algorithms, IXL gives the right help to each kid no matter the age or personality. And it doesn't have to eat up all your time. One subscription gets you everything for all the kids in your home, pre-K to 12th grade. So don't miss out. 1 in 4 students in the U.S. are learning with IXL. IXL is used in 95 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/audio. Visit IXL.com/audio to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.
Well, we got a minute. I'm going to buy that truck I've been wanting.
Wait, don't you need like weeks to shop for a car?
I don't. Carvana makes it super convenient to find exactly what I want.
Hold up. You're buying a car on your phone? Isn't that more of a laptop thing?
You can shop wherever you want.
I like to do my research, read reviews, compare models. Plus, Carvana has thousands of options. How'd you decide on that truck?
Because I like it.
Oh, that is a great reason.
Go to Carvana.com to sell your car the convenient way.
Worried about letting someone else pick out the perfect avocado for your perfect impress them on the third date guacamole? Well, good thing Instacart shoppers are as picky as you are. They find ripe avocados like it's their guac on the line. They are milk expiration date detectives. They bag eggs like the 12 precious pieces of cargo they are. So let Instacart shoppers overthink your groceries so that you can overthink what you'll wear on that third date. Download the Instacart app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Okay, Gretch, we are back with more hacks about exercise. Betsy says, I listen to your podcast while I walk. Feels like you're my companion.
Aww.
My friend Mindy does this while she walks her dog. She's
that's
always
good.
texting me, I'm listening to your podcast.
I love that we're pairing for people. That's great.
Yes.
Sarah said, I used a few of your tricks. Don't break the chain was one of them. And for several months, I stuck to 30 minutes of movement every morning. It doesn't have to be heavy. Gym, swim, yoga, run, or just walk. But it happened. Yep, don't break the chain works for a lot of people. And I have a Don't Break the Chain journal, too. If you like to have a journal, I'll post a link to that, or you can do it in the Happier app, or there's a lot of ways to do Don't Break the Chain because it's so effective. But if you like a journal, it's kind of a fun keepsake to have.
Yes, I love mine. Caitlin said, if you engage in different kinds of workouts, create different bags with the supplies you need for each one, even if this means having multiples. Like Liz, I also enjoy Orange Theory and have a duffel with my heart rate monitor, charger, a backup water bottle, and the shoes I wear for Orange Theory. Separately, my running duffel has running shoes, socks, and so on. Although this creates a little added expense, I find that not transferring supplies between activity bags ensures I never show up for a workout without something I need. I also find that my supplies don't go missing when they're always in the bag for their activity. Great idea.
Well, this is the strategy of convenience and the strategy of inconvenience, which is if there's something you want to encourage yourself to do, make it as convenient as possible. And so that's a great suggestion. Connie said, I once took an exercise class where before class, you wrote down 3 words on how you were feeling. And immediately after the workout, again, you wrote 3 words to describe how you were feeling. It became so clear to me how much exercise helped me to feel more energized, focused, and motivated. This has helped me to stay consistent with working out, and now it is part of my weekly routine. For this hack, I want to give credit to Antoinette Hemphill, who started Mama Beast, a fitness and media brand. That's a great idea because that really gets you focused on the why and also the benefits. And so that's going to help you keep going.
Yeah, and it really is a mood booster. As we
is.
were talking about at the beginning of the podcast, nothing can improve my mood more than finishing an exercise class or a hike.
Well, there's just so many great hacks from listeners. Also, I wrote a piece a while back with more hacks about how to exercise regularly. So if you want even more hacks, I will post a link to that in the show notes. And I will just say that the book Better Than Before, which goes into all the 21 strategies. So if you want to read more about a particular strategy that appeals to you so you can think about how you might apply it to exercise, Better Than Before is a great resource for that. But let us know if you do try these hacks at home and which exercise hacks work for you or they're ones we missed. This is such an important habit. We want every hack we can get. Let us know on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. Drop us an email at podcast@gretchenrubin.com. As always, you can go to the show notes. This is a very special episode, a 10th episode. It's happiercast.com/490 for everything related to this episode.
And what's the resource for this week, Gretch?
Well, I just want to mention again, I mentioned it before, but if you are struggling to stay consistent with exercising, Don't Break the Chain is something that works for all the tendencies and people tend to find very satisfying, as many listeners had hacks related to that. So my Don't Break the Chain habit tracker really could help you build that habit. If you go to happiercast.com/journals, you can check out the Don't Break the Chain habit tracker.
I love mine.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, what are we reading? Well, that's another habit we like to do consistently. What are you reading?
I am reading The Shepherd's Life by James Rebanks.
And I'm reading The Comforters by Muriel Spark. And that's it for this episode of Happier. Remember to try this at home. Try some of these exercise hacks. Let us know what you tried and if it worked for you.
Thank you to our executive producer, Chuck Reed, and everyone at Odyssey. Get in touch. Gretchen's on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and TikTok at Gretchen Rubin, and I'm on Instagram and Threads at Liz Craft.
And if you like the show, you know what I'm going to say. Please be sure to tell a friend and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And here's your rhyme. If you like our vibe, please subscribe.
Until next week, I'm Elizabeth Craft.
And I'm Gretchen Rubin. Thanks for joining us. Onward and upward. Yeah, Elizabeth, you've gotten me intrigued with Orange Theory. I had never heard of it until you mentioned it. And of course, now I see it everywhere. And I'm really thinking that I need to have cardio. You're way ahead of me on the cardio front.
Yeah, Gretchen, I don't know how you'll feel about Orange Theory. You should try it and see.
Okay.
I'm curious. You might love it. You might not. I really am getting so much out of it.
You've done it a lot. From the Onward Project.
Save on Cox Internet when you add Cox Mobile and get fiber-powered internet at home and unbeatable 5G reliability on the go. So whether you're playing a game at home,
Yes, goal.
or attending one live, you can do more without spending more. Learn how to save at cox.com/internet. Cox Internet is connected to the premises via coaxial cable. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. 2H 2023. Results may vary, not an endorsement. Other restrictions apply.